and I'm not telling her. So, okay, it's me, unapologetically T, and the video has cut and started over again. So this is part 3, I think. But yeah, I'm starting to definitely, I'm just gonna be honest with you, I'm starting to get sick of her shit. Like, I see right through her. Like, every phone call she calls, like, it's transparent. Like, you're the op, bitch. Like, you trying to use me, you trying to get over on me. It even got to a point where, like, when I went to go pick up my niece, no, I went to go drop my niece off from school. She And I think I even paid for one of my times my niece needed aftercare and before care, because I think one time she couldn't pay for it. Like, it's a lot of things that comes back to me, but it was like one time. So and aftercare and before care helped me to be able to like drop her off and pick her up, because I did that with my daughter, and it allowed, you know, extra cushion time for you to get them to the school before school started. So and I never was reimbursed. However, like I said, once again, I looked at it like that's my niece too. But I'm struggling. I'm struggling on my own. And what I was about to say. So yeah, it came a time where I was dropping my niece off, and my sister didn't fucking call me and say, hey, when you drop off, da 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 da, could you take me to the bank? This heifer jumps in my car. Like, she comes outside. And, no, I think like she was, yeah, coming outside. And she comes to the car, and she's like, gets in my car and said, can you take me to the bank? And it's like, well, you're already in my fucking car. Like, are you even giving me a choice? So once again, I was a coward, because I should have told her that day, like, bitch, I'm not your mama. Like, you not about to big boy me, and you not about to make me do nothing. Like, you didn't even ask me. You didn't even ask me. You didn't even ask me. So yeah, like, she just would do stuff like that, like kind of like impose herself. It became like where you don't even have to respect my boundaries anymore. Like, you could just, you know, you just know you got the cat in the bag with me. Like, you just know you got the food, you got boo boo the food. Like, and so like I'm just boiling all this shit in. Like, so it's just shit from shit. The first time we reconnected and you lied about what kind of jobs you had. Like, she did a lot of shit. Like, she told me when I first met her again as adults that she worked at Capital One. Come to find out, yeah, you work at the Capital One building, but you're a barista, and there's nothing wrong with being a barista. But bitch, why are you lying? Like, I'm not that type of person. I don't give a fuck where you work at. It's good you got a job. Like, I'm not that type of person. Like, even when I'm was dating niggas in the past, like, I didn't care. You got a job, that is so awesome. Like, I don't care what you doing, something positive, that's awesome. You work at McDonald's, that's awesome. I don't care. Like, I'm not that type of person. Like, I'm not judgmental, or like I don't look down and turn my nose up at people. Like, I came from the bottom. Like, the fuck I look like doing that? And I think a lot of people think I think like that, and it's furthest from the truth. Like, I am for people who are down and out and struggling. Like, I do not look down on them whatsoever. I feel like if Jesus was here, those would be the people that he would be helping and being with, not the people who are self-proclaimed saved. Like, whatever that is. But yeah, I feel like, you know, I don't know what she had going on, but like, you know, I just started thinking about everything from the beginning to the end. And so it was really getting on my nerves. It was getting taxing. And I just felt like, you know, see, you need to worry about you and Elsie. Like, that's it. That's who you need to worry about. Like, cause at the end of the day, won't nobody helping me with my child. And I will give her credit for this though. When I did start taking up more time with my niece, she would randomly, you know, get my daughter sometimes. She didn't do what I would do for my niece. For my daughter, however, she did try to put forth effort, so I'm gonna give her that. However, I couldn't depend on her if I needed her. So the cat got out of the bag, and I couldn't take no more after I get a phone call. No, matter of fact, I don't know which came first. I think this came first though. I get a phone call from her that, you know, she couldn't pay her rent again. And I'm going to say again because this was a recurring thing. So much so that she told me, like, I just don't know what's wrong with me. And this was her exact words. I just don't know what's wrong with me when it comes to the things like my hair. You know, like she was saying, like the material things, like the hair, the nails, the shoes, the food, which is a necessity, but she do fast food a lot. And I have too in the past, but I could afford it. But yeah, she was just saying like she don't know what's wrong with her, because when it comes to those things, she can manage and take care of those things. However, when it comes to the rent, she just don't know what happens. And I was just like, well, man, that's the number one priority. And you know, I had a conversation. I finally just, you know, couldn't take it no more. I was like, you know, that's the number one priority. You pay that first, before you pay anything. Now, mind you, if you don't give two fucks like I did recently, like, you do what you want to do, but don't be calling nobody asking them for rent money. You do what you want to do, but don't be calling nobody asking them for rent money. And then you won't have to have nobody opinions on how you should spend your money. However, this time it was just enough was enough, and it was like, you know, well, you take care of rent first. The way I do it, and that's what I said, the way I do it is I pay rent first, and I make sure car insurance is taken care of, gas is in the car, and food is in the house. Anything after that, that's extra, and you know, if I can't afford it for that month, we just go without. You're not gonna die. You can learn to do your own hair. You can learn to take care of your own nails, even though sometimes I bite my nails. Like, but if you do have preferences of being high maintenance and looking glorious, like you can have ways around that. Because those things are expensive. Like getting your hair done and your nails done are definitely an expense. Wearing name brand clothes and shoes, that's a fucking expense out of this world. All those things, they add up, they cost. The fast food adds up, it costs. Now it's like it don't matter whether you eat fast food or store-bought food, the shit is high. So I don't know how she's doing that, but I hope she's doing great. So anywho, you know, we end up having this conversation. She tells me that she needs like over $2,000. And I'm just like, I don't have this type of money. Like, and I'm trying to think to myself, like, why the fuck she called me? Like, during this time, like, once again, Dante was in jail on work release. I am not employed. Like, I am, you know, figuring it out, side hustling. So, I just was wondering what the fuck she thought I had going on in my life. Like, and she knew this. She knew I wasn't. So I'm just trying to figure it out. Like, well, what do you think I have to give you? And so I even was being a coward again. I once again was like, you know, well, I don't have it, but maybe I could call like my mom or my best friend. And I'm just trying to gauge her, because at this point, I wouldn't even say that part was being a coward. At this point, I was trying to gauge, you know, how far she would go. I mean, I got asked my mom or my best friend, and she was like cool with that shit. And I was like, when she did that, I was just like, oh, this bitch, she's she don't care who she take from. Like, she'll take her. And so I'm just like, I get off the phone with her. I call my mom and immediately just tell my mom everything that happened, and stuff that, you know, has continued to happen. And she told me from that moment, like, you need to leave her alone. She was like, and I had heard this before from her, and I have learned over the years, like, when my mom told me to leave somebody alone, like, I need to leave them alone. And I was just like, I heard her that time though. Like, when she said you need to leave her alone, I heard her that time. And I think shortly after that, like, I had let her know that I wasn't gonna be able to take. I had gave her a 2 weeks notice that I wasn't. Imagine, I'm not getting paid, baby. I'm not getting paid. I gave her a 2 weeks notice that I was not gonna be able to take my niece to school anymore. Just because I had felt used and abused. Like, I just felt used and abused, and I was just like, you know what? Mind you, she didn't get the money out of me. I will say that. And that, I'm going to tell you, mind you, because the bitch brings it up like it was an accolade. Okay. I mean, like, it was, it shouldn't have hurt that much because she didn't get the money out of me. So, like, I had started to, like, pull back. However, my grandma ends up passing away on my dad's side, which is ironic. They share the same birthday. She ends up passing away, and I'm talking to my sister, but I'm not fucking with my sister. Like, if that makes sense. Like, she's still my sister at this point. I just don't fucking fuck with her. Like, I see you for who you are, but I haven't told you I see you for who you are. I done pulled back from you. You probably felt that energy of me pulling back from you. Oh yeah, I left out a part one day too. She jumped in my car talking about something she needed to get a plunger, and something about, it don't even matter. I was grossed out, but it don't even matter. But she needed to get a plunger. Mind you, when my car broke down and I lived in the same area she lived in, I would walk to the Family Dollar. Like, I would walk to the Family Dollar. I would not call nobody and say I needed a ride. When you want me to come over there and give you a ride where you could have simply walked your ass over there to the store. Like, it just became like she was using me a little too much for her comfort. Like, it became like I was her comfort. I left out too when she was getting evicted, and we moved her. Like, this is her personality. We moved her for free. The first night, it was me, two of my brothers, my nephew, my sister, her, and Denise, and I think my brother's girlfriend. And I think she was pregnant, so she couldn't do a lot. And then the second day I had got sick, and so I basically literally was over there asleep on the floor, and they were moving. They were moving, and I ended up waking up because I was just so sick, and I ended up waking up, and they was like, you need to go to the doctor. And I ended up going to the doctor down the street, ended up having the flu, which it was ironic enough, like, her people at her job had the flu, so I'm thinking I probably had caught it from her ass. I wasn't much of a help. However, from the recollection of everybody else, this is her character only, but it's alleged. They moving her stuff in the house. This is family moving her stuff in the house, and she mad because they not putting her bed together, and they not moving the boxes. Like, how you had living room stuff, they're not putting the living room stuff just in the living room, and the bedroom stuff to the bedroom, the kitchen stuff in the kitchen. Like, she wanted that shit organized movers. And my sister had to tell her, because I think after they had finished moving her pretty much, a dude had came over, and she was like, you better get the niggas to do it. She was like, I'm not bending you over. Like, you need to get the nigga to do it. And she got mad at my sister because of that. And so this is just her character, and like, it's more of like this entitlement, like somebody owe her something when, bitch, you need help. We don't owe you shit. Like, you need help, and we're helping, and that's that. So we go through this whirlwind of events. I lose time just because at this point I'm like, fuck her. At this point I'm like, fuck her. She done told so many stories about this pregnancy that ain't adding up, and like, ultrasound looking fake as a bitch, baby upside down in the ultrasound. Like, it's just like, shit just don't make sense. So that's when I started to involve my older sister too. So I had already started feeling my mom, and then I felt my mom told me to leave the bitch alone. My older sister, and my older sister still, like, that's one thing I'm gonna say about her. Like, she real. She wanted to figure things out, still for herself. However, like, I'm still the baby, and she gonna hear me out. but she never just sided with me. You know, she still, her and my sister were repairing their own relationship, so I give her that. That was some real shit. So my grandma passes away. I'm having, I think I needed a tire, or like something was always wrong with my car. So I'm just like, you know, I'm not driving to Southfield like in my car. My car feel like it might clonk out, and I just ain't doing it. So my sister was like, well, I already, you know, thought, you know, they was gonna need a oh, I left out another part too that was important before we get to my grandma's funeral. This was another thing that had pissed me slam the fuck off. We had, I don't know what we was going up there for her. This might have been when we was going up there to get her money, so that she wouldn't get evicted. I left that out. So I think I did talk about that, but I left that out. So we went to my dad's house for something, and she came with us. Off the back that morning, she had an attitude. So I done dropped the kids off. She done had an attitude about, matter of fact, I think, see, you know what? I told stuff out of order. So I found out that she didn't have her car and all that stuff first before I found out she was getting evicted. I think by the time we found out she was getting evicted, you know, like we had rallied together like to try to make sure she got her money and all that stuff. So we did know she didn't have a car. So I was helping her for a while. I just thought it was like a shorter period of time, but like it probably was like about a good 4 or 5 months as far as transportation with my niece at least. But anywho, I definitely remember us going up there. I don't know if it was for Christmas to drop off a gift. It was for something. And I get over there. She mad because she don't have no roll up. She got weed, no roll up. So she's mad. She wanted me to go to the store, get her a roll up before I come over there. So I'm like, I just came from dropping all these motherfucking kids off. Then I had to go get my older sister, who do live down the street, you know. And so I went to go get her. And I done already passed them stores, and I don't feel like fucking driving to go to another store. Like, bitch, how about this? You know, we get there, you come on, and then we go get the roll up. You roll up in the motherfucking car, and we hit this road. And so she wasn't having no parts of that. Like, she was pissed off because I didn't stop at the store. Okay, baby, whatever. Like, say you got a problem without saying you got a problem, because I know a lot of y'all got problems. But I don't let nothing control me that much. It's that I can't leave the house without doing it. And but I do know that that's a sensitive subject. But I lived with a motherfucking dope fiend, so we ain't never had that problem where you know, like, I don't know. We just never had that problem, and he was a dope fiend. So, like, I'm going to need y'all potheads to reevaluate yourselves sometimes, because you're coming off a little fiendish. And so she was mad, and man, when I tell you, all I could do was laugh in her motherfucking face. That's when I was a coward. I laughed in her face like, bitch, if you don't get dressed, what do you mean you can't get up and come on and do it in the car? Like, if you don't get dressed, get your bald ass dressed. Come on. Like, come on, let's go. So I laughed like the whole time. I'm laughing at her little attitude like I do with my daughter. Like, I'm treating her like my daughter when she have an attitude like, you done? Okay, when you done, we can go get in the car. And so we ended up, you know, getting the roll up. She ended up having to do that shit in the car, and we hit the road. And so that's a long all day affair. We come back. Mind you, we come back. I don't know how Dante got involved in it, but I do know he was not with us at the start. But I don't know, I might have picked him up from somewhere, and You know what? He was at work. That's what it was. He was at work. He worked in Southside. So what I would typically do is pick him up. Because, yes, this was before he got locked up. So I would pick him up. Well, I would drop him off in the morning and then drop his daughter off and then drop my daughter off and then pick up and drop my niece off. Or either I would drop his daughter off and then pick up and drop my daughter off. Pick up my niece and then drop my daughter off and then drop my niece off. So it was time to come back and pick everybody up. Mind you, my niece had like a cheer event, like celebration or Veterans Day thing. That's what it was going to see my dad for Veterans Day. Had a Veterans Day thing, and she needed to be at Golden Corral. Mind you, my sister told us that she was going to get an Uber there. However, the time that we got back, it did make sense that I carried them, but how that was out of the way. Like, it was way out of the way. So, literally, I had to go pick Dante up, come back to Southside, take her to her house, which that wasn't bad because that was right down the street from my daughter's school, and take her to her house. She was supposed to get, or did she pick up? I don't know. All I know is we had to go get kids. So I had to get my child, get her child, and go to the house too to get the cheer stuff for my niece, so that when she go to Corral, she would have her stuff. Then the route that we took, so since my niece school was near my older sister's house, we went to go drop my older sister off. The car is fucking, like, I mean, when I say the car is full, the car is full. The car is tits. Dante, man, is a bitch because he just got off fucking work and he had, like, the job he was doing, he was working on pallets. So, like, he was in, like, a production type job to fix pallets that be in the grocery store and shit. And that was some hard ass shit. So, like, he tired as a bitch. Like, this is a full-time job. Like, and I mean, like, 10 hours job sometimes, 10 to 12 hours sometimes, depending on if he got overtime. So, like, he was tired. And, like, I knew him. They don't even know him, and they know, like, he ain't feeling this shit. So, like, my sister back there, my oldest sister back there, quiet as a bitch. So, my other sister, it's raining too, y'all. So, and I can't see in the dark. And then you add rain on it, like, I'm blind as a bat. And so my sister just says, oh, I forgot something about one of them said you forgot your shoes, or I forgot your shoes. And me, I'm like, well, can she wear the shoes she got on? Like, and they looking like as if, like, I had committed blasphemy, like, she can't do that. And Dante automatically suck his teeth and go, ugh. And my sister already knew what fucking time it was. She was like, you can just let me out right here, which was the store near her house. And my sister laughing at this point because she knew that, like, she knew, like, and she knew this girl, like, expected me to drive all the way back to her house, then take her to Midlothian to all the way to go to Corral. And I was just like, you know, I can't do it. I could drop you back at home. Like, we can take you back to the house. Like, you can catch an Uber. Like, you can catch a Lyft. But, like, we need to go on back to the East End. So, but she the type of person, like, she don't even give a fuck. Like, she don't care that she's inconveniencing you. Like, she feel like you're an inconvenience if you don't do what she wants you to do. So, like, my sister was trying to hint to her that she was being an inconvenience by saying, you don't even have to take me home. Just drop me off right here. So it was just like, it was so many instances, like, I'm dealing with a person who is definitely self-centered. Is definitely, I'ma just say I can't diagnose nobody, but I felt like very narcissistic. Like, more narcissistic than my partner. Like, so that happened, but I'm gonna jump to grandma. So my grandma passes away, and my sister is talking about getting a rental car, so that everybody can fit. Because I'm like, bitch, hold on, like, you inviting people in your car, and I don't even have transportation. Like, you should have checked with me first. And so she was like, you know what, I'll just get a rental car so everybody can go, because she knew I was feeling some type of way with my sister. I didn't even invite her to ride with me. However, it wasn't because, like, I didn't like her, even though I wouldn't have invited her, because I didn't like her at the time. I didn't need to be around her. But because I just wasn't going to drive anyway. But my sister, however, on the other hand, was definitely trying to be nice and accommodate us all. And I would have went if she invited her and just stayed, you know, reserved. So, like I said, I definitely was being a cow because I wasn't calling her out on her bullshit. Like, I hadn't told her that I had investigated her and looked up online, because it's public record how much you owe when you're getting evicted. And I went, you know, like, I do shit like that. Like, if once I'm ready to, like, because most of the time I don't give a fuck to put energy in it. But, like, if it's a situation like that where I need to prove that you fucking lying, I'll go look it up. So I went and investigated. Come to find out, she didn't owe $2,000. She did owe Miss Rent for like $1,000 and some dollars, and it was the lower end of $1,000. Which, you know, I felt slighted, because it's like, not only are you using me and taking advantage of me, because I have my own child to take care of, my own rent to pay, but you lied about how much you owed. So I never had mentioned any of that. It was just like this rabbit hole I had went down, trying to just make sure I'm not the crazy one and I'm not being too, because I think, like, that's one of my things from my childhood, because I've been gaslighted so much. Like, when people wrong me, I feel like I'm the wrong one. And so I always try to make sure I have extra proof that you wrong before I call y'all on your bullshit. And, like, it just got to this point, this head, where it was like, it's time to call her out, but I hadn't yet. So my grandma died. I love my grandma to pieces. My grandma was always nice to me. I can't say not one bad thing about my grandma, as far as her treatment with me. However, if you've been following my videos, you know, like, different people in your family mean different things to different people, and that's that. But for me, I ain't got nothing bad to say about grandma. So, you know, I was going. Well, my sister, she ended up telling my oldest sister that she couldn't go because she had a mandatory meeting. And so I chuckled and laughed at that, and I was like, who the fuck can't go? Who can't take off from work to go to their grandma's funeral and they work at Starbucks? Like, you had a mandatory meeting that you can't miss. You can't go to your grandma's funeral and you doing Starbucks work. I know people who do the Lord's work that can go to a funeral. like, make that shit make sense. And your grandmother. So, like, that pissed me off again going down the road. Like, I'm just mad at all that shit. So, and then, bad you, she posting shit on Facebook too. So she's posting subliminal diss messages on Facebook. And so I'm just knowing she talking about me. And I still to this day know she was talking about me. And I had switched up my energy with her. I definitely had. I definitely will give her that I was being a coward by putting her feelings before mine and not hurting her feelings, you know. Well, I look at it as I'm hurting someone else's feelings, but not, I wasn't verbalizing that she hurt my feelings to spare her feelings. So I will give her that. That's where I was a coward. However, I went to grandma's funeral. Oh my God, it was so fucking sad. And I miss my grandma still to this day. And I had a whole bunch of guilt about that, because when my grandma had got sick, I went one of the times, like, it was maybe some months before she had passed, but, like, when they told us that she like had took a turn for the worse. I wasn't able to get out of that because I was going through, you know, all those things at home, and I was by myself. I did not have to help my partner and all that stuff. So I was swimming in my own shit, and I felt so guilty because I didn't get to go see my grandma before, you know, her her passing over. So but I did get to have a dream with her where it felt so real and connected. And she hugged me and she told me, you know, like she loved me. And it just felt so real. Almost had a heart attack coming out of that dream. And yeah, but I always hold on to that dream. It means a lot to me. But anywho, when I got to the funeral and I heard the preacher preach and, you know, was dealing with that loss. My grandma was big on family and staying connected to family. Like my grandma would call. She was a grandma that called everybody for their birthday. Like she knew everybody's birthday. She had a little book with everybody's phone number in it. And I just knew she wouldn't want me and my sister fighting, or you know, like just being at odds. So I told my sister, like, on the way home, while I was in the car with her, like, you know, I'm gonna call my sister, tell her, you know, I'm sorry for being, you know, funny towards her. And when I say funny, I meant like pulling back from her, not explaining to her where she had me fucked up at. And, you know, so I just told her, like, I'm gonna call her, and, you know, like, the funeral had really affected me. So I called her, and, I lied to you not. Like, God knows my heart. God knows who I am. Had I not had a witness that day, um, that would have been one of those situations where I would have been like, was I wrong? However, I literally called this girl, calling her to apologize. Like, the words that came out of my mouth was like, you know, I just wanted to call you and let you know I'm sorry for being funny towards you and being fake towards you. But before I could even get out the reasons why I was, she automatically just said, you know, oh, um, I'm not mad at you or something. Or she said something about like, I'm not mad at you, and that Facebook post wasn't about you. That was about our oldest sister. And I was like, huh? And because it caught me off guard, because I'm like, I did not bring up our older sister. I'm trying to talk about the shit we got going on. And she was like, yeah, I just felt like she was being fake. The whole bringing up, you know, she would have to get a rental car. And but mind you, she would have had to get a rental car. As all of us are going, we all can't fit in the car, like, because she had her own son, and then my brother, and then my daughter, and then her and my niece. Like, we all wouldn't have been able to fit in her car. So I was explaining to her, and then she was like, oh, well, she just always, you know, talking stuff. Oh, it's me, Unapologetic Tea, and this is part 4. Trauma dumping. However, I have worked past this shit, and I had to learn to forgive and forget, and I will get to that. Not I wouldn't say forget, but I had to learn to forgive, and I'll get to that part. And I'm sorry for the camera shaking. I'm gonna try to stabilize it. But yeah, I should just start going off about how I should have no, my sister, she always, you know, saying this and saying that. And then one of the things she said, that you could have shoved 2 big, you know what's in our mouths, was, yeah. And then she said, like, she just started trauma dumping all the shit she ain't like about my sister onto me. Mind you, we're on speakerphone, and my sister's in the car right next to her. Like, so I'll get to that. But anyway, mind you, we're on speakerphone. My sister's right next to me. But I didn't call her on no bullshit. Like, I didn't bring up my sister's name. I had no idea she was going to bring my sister up. And I learned, you know, from that point on, you know, maybe I should not do speakerphones. Or I should tell people they're on speakerphone, because boy, do people, you know, do some weird shit. But so, and mind you, I don't talk about the older sister with her, and I typically didn't talk about her with the older sister until she had me real fucked up. That's when I had to. I was just like, you know what? I understand. I see where you've been coming from all these years. And she just says, like, my sister used to say her mom had a man for everything. And like, she would be like, my mom had a man that would take her grocery shopping, take her out on dates, a man that blah blah blah. Like, she had a man for everything. Sometimes she would say, like, you need 5 men to make a hole. And it's just like, she would say shit like that. And unfortunately, my oldest sister, mom had passed away from HIV. However, nobody knows how she contracted it. So that's that. But my sister made a remark. It was like, yeah, she always say stuff like, my mama had a man for this and that, and ain't that how her mama? Maybe that's how her mama caught AIDS. And I was like, whoa. I couldn't. It was silent in the car. My sister, who is very fucking vocal, mouth was wide open. I put my hand over her mouth like, oh my God, like, don't say shit. Which I should have let her. I should have let her go the fuck in. However, what I ended up doing was, I was like, you know what, I gotta go. Like, I gotta go. I'm just in shock. Like, it's like a deer in headlights. I'm like, I gotta go. And I don't mean to laugh. It's trauma response. But I'm like, I gotta go. And, I gotta get home to Lily. Sassy, I will, I'll call you later. Like, it's been a long day. And I do not even go home that night. I stay at my sister's house. We stay up trying to figure out how the fuck that happened. And I was like, bitch, had you not been in the car, would you have believed me if I came to you and was like, this bitch just started talking about you after I was trying to talk about what the fuck we had going on? And she was like, nah, I would have felt like dog that care about, the dog that bring a bone, carries a bone, and like shit like that. She was like, nah, I wouldn't have believed you. I would have felt like you had said something about me. And I was just like, I did not see that one coming, but I was like, you know what? I think it was like a deflection so that me and her don't have to get into where the fuck she went wrong. And so she started to try to talk about you as a deflection, so me and her don't have to talk about what the fuck she really had going on and where, like, she was wrong at. And so that shit just sat with me, and I was like, man, this bitch is ugly. Like, the inside is ugly, and I ain't talking about no outside. I'm talking about the inside is ugly, and I had to sit with that process like months and years of things that had happened. And I'm being pretty light on details of things that happened. Like, I done left out when I was like young. I was like 20, in my early 20s. I was renting a house, and she came over to the house, and she loved the house. Everybody loved that house. It was a nice house. And most people would be like, yeah, I love your house, it's nice, and leave it at that. Like, this bitch told me, I'm gonna take your house. And I was like, me and my older sister looked at each other like, you mean you gonna get your own house? Like, you gonna take my house? Like, she literally told me she was gonna take my house in my face, and I thought, like, I'm hearing shit. Like, I ain't just hear this. And I typically do this shit to people. Like, when people be saying shit to me, I typically act like, okay, well, that's not what they said, because I've been gaslit all my life. Like, so, nah, she said that shit because me and my sister looked at each other, and then after she left, we had a conversation like, this bitch just told you she was gonna take your house. And I was like, yeah, but I tried to redirect her and tell her, like, you gonna get your own house. You can pray for your own house. Like, don't try to say what's meant for me is meant for me. Like, and but yeah, so she definitely has shown years and years of like some hatred towards me, I guess. And I think because I never called her out on her bullshit, like, she just kept going and going. So that's why I say, like, this is a good example of me being a coward, and how it turned out to be ugly. Now, this is the part, if you're a person who loves drama, this is where some more drama comes. So after all of that, she said what she said about my sister's mom. I'm like, I don't fuck with her for real now. Like, fuck her. She can get all the smoke. She can get all the gut smoke that she want. I end up going home that morning. I was not feeling well, so I was feeling sick. I think actually, I ended up going to the hospital because I felt sick. But I think it was more stress, going on, and I was having an allergic reaction to something. I kept itching and shit. So I don't know. I think it was stress, and but they did give me some medicine for the itching. Um, um, what ended up happening? Oh, I ended up texting her, and I text her. I know I texted her some ugly shit. Like, it was time, and I know one of the ugliest things I said was, you should not throw stones in a glass house. The way you talked about Michelle's mom was so, uncalled for. But didn't your mom fuck her cousin? And yeah, I said that, and I guess that'll make anybody go off. And I do typically try not to verbalize how I feel with people because shit like that'll come out, and so when I sent that text, and I put other stuff in there and just told her like stuff where she had me wrong, and you know her lying about her rent, her lying about the baby, all that shit. So she never tries to prove prove anything over the phone. She just, she's going back and forth about stupid shit. Like, and I'm the type of person, I don't like arguing with you. I like to get what I got to say out. You can get what you got to say out, but what we not gonna do is we're not gonna have this back and forth screaming match, because that shit just only makes me angry and I want to punch you in your face. And so I feel like it is counterproductive, and if we just gonna be yelling back and forth like little bitches, then I don't want to do it. I hate that shit. I didn't have to deal with that about our relationship because I was dating a real nigga at times, and we never had yelling matches. I would yell. I'm a yeller, but at the same time, like, it wasn't this ping pong game. I don't like that shit. Um, Definitely, like, the way she was doing it, it was like it wasn't even adding up. It was all over the place, and I was just like, you know what, you pissing me off. I'm getting the fuck off the phone. I don't feel good, because you making me real mad, and I'm gonna be ready to smack shit out you. Like, and I told her this shit, like, I'm gonna want to fight. Like, don't keep doing this, like, cause I was at the point where, like, I wasn't gonna write her off as my sister, but like, bitch, we not the same. Like, the relationship will never be the same. And I just let her know how I felt, and I hung up. She let me know how she felt. I let her know how I felt, and I hung up. Maybe I didn't give her enough time to let me know how she felt, because this carless bitch, she got in the car, and I don't say this with animosity towards her anymore, because bygones be bygones. But she gets in the car, and, well, she doesn't get in her car. She catches a Uber or Lyft to my house, and knocks on my door. I'm on the phone with my mom and my sister, rehashing all this shit, like, letting them know, like, she gotta be fucked up. Like, I just had to get off the phone with her, tell her, like, I'm gonna get off the phone because I'm gonna want to beat your ass. Like, don't, don't call me back. Like, let me cool off. Let me, let me focus on feeling better, because I don't feel good, and you pissing me off. So we just having this conversation, and I don't even put two and two together that this bitch is at my door. Typically, I had a neighbor who would get our mail for us sometimes, because, like, he just would go get his own mail, and he would just bring all the neighbors their mail. And I think this was like a Sunday, so um, I'm thinking he knocking on the door to give us some mail, because he would do shit like that. And I'm just, if you ignore him, sometimes he would go away and just leave the mail in a bag at the door, because we wouldn't ask. He just would do this shit. So I'm just like, I don't feel like dealing with him right now, because I'm pissed off. Mind you, I'm also in the house walking around with a t-shirt and no clothes on underneath, like no drawers, nothing. Just walk around with a t-shirt and no underclothes. So I'm not gonna open the door for nobody. I'm not prepared to fight. I'm not prepared for none of this. I'm just in my house chilling and venting. So the knocking don't stop though, and I'm like thinking to myself, like, when the fuck you gonna go away from the door? So then I get a beep in my phone, and it says I'm at your door, and it's her, and I'm trying to figure out why the fuck would you be at my motherfucking door? Like, oh, so you do want the smoke. So I felt like threatened at this point. Like, bitch, you can't all the way to my safe haven. Like, my house is my safe haven. I probably hadn't been in a fight in over... It had been some shit. I hadn't fought in a long time. And, you're at my door? You're at my door. So, before I can get to my door and I read the text message, I let her know, like, at least 5 times, bitch, get away from my door. The bitch does not get away from my door. Like, and I yelled it. Like, it was a 500 square foot apartment. Like, you could hear it. So from my bedroom to walking towards the door, I done said, bitch, get the fuck away from my door. She's still knocking. She's still there. And so I opened the door, and mind you, I done lost my mind at this point. I done lost my mind because I only got on a shirt and no clothes underneath. So I done lost my mind because I went to the door. My mom on the phone. She's scared to death. I done put the phone to the side somewhere. I opened the door where I jarred it a little bit because I don't know whether she got a weapon with her or what. So I'm just like, why the fuck are you at my house? I didn't tell you to come here. Like, what the fuck wrong with you? Bitches, you stupid. Like, I'm cussing her the fuck out. And I ain't gonna even lie. Like, Demon Time came out. And I'm not one of them people that I pretend that, like, I'm all light. I love to be there. I also love my gray area the most. That's my peace. Like, but I can get dark, and that was one of the moments where it just was complete darkness. And she's still trying to prove to me that she wasn't lying about her rent and all this shit. She wasn't lying about her pregnancy, and she's just like throwing paperwork in my face, handing it, like shaking it in my face, like, here. She had handed me some paperwork, y'all, like, where she had wrote, and somebody had handwritten that she owed $2,000 or some dollars for the rent. However, all the documentation that was written in ink was stating a different amount, and it was like, bitch, I'm not your mom. I'm not gonna tell you again, I'm not your mom. Like, you're not gonna intimidate me into, believing whatever you want me to believe. And furthermore, like, I don't get 2 fucks with you. Could have came down here with the proof of everything. You could have came down here with the proof of everything. And at this point, you done crossed the major fucking line. Like, you done came to my house unannounced, and I don't do that shit. Like, nobody gets to come to my house unannounced. Like, I have had to cuss my father out. Like, not cuss him out, but tell him, like, don't do that shit no more. Like, don't come knocking at my door and you ain't telling me you can't. You don't pay no bills here. You ain't helped the goddamn thing. Don't come here. The only person that could pop up at my house unannounced is my mom. And she would never. So we just would never do that. And so yeah. But to come to somebody's house unannounced, uninvited, after they told you they were getting mad to the point they wanted to beat your ass, is like the most insane thing to me. And so it got to a point where I think she had probably been there for maybe, like, it was very quick. It happened very quickly. So she might have been there for like 10 seconds throwing that little paper in my face. And it just got to a point where I blacked the fuck out on her, and I told her to leave. She stepped towards me and stood still, and I just went off. And she ended up in the house. I invited her to hell since she wanted to come. And you know, we just had to do that. And mind you, she was still telling everyone she was pregnant. I still to this day do not believe she was pregnant. Obviously, she didn't have proof that she was pregnant because she tried to get me locked up on that premise. She did call the police. My sister, because my sister was on the phone and my mom was on the phone, my mom told my sister to come over there to my house. My sister rushed over there, and she was coming anyway. And I'm happy the police came because my sister would have dog walked her ass again. And I wouldn't have stopped fighting her had my white neighbor came, and my daughter to this day was like, he saw your butt. Because I guess by the time he had came, like, I was already on top of my sister. And so yeah, like, that was an embarrassing time in my life. Every time I think about my behavior that day, it's just like, why did you let her take you there? However, I felt threatened. Like, you at my house, bitch. Like, you have threatened me. I have a Cane Corso who is very fucking territorial. Like, while I was fighting her, my Cane Corso walked right. She went right near me, stopped, looked at my ass, and kept on walking, ran outside. I was like, bitch, you got it. I'm gonna have a fun time outside. So I'm thankful that my neighbor did come get me off there, girl, because it could have got ugly very quickly. Also, one of the things that broke my heart is that my daughter had to see me get into a fight. I remember my mom fighting when I was little, and it was heartbreaking, and just seeing my daughter upset and, you know, hurt over that was one of the things that broke my heart. However, I did have to tell her, like, that's my safe haven. Like, she shouldn't have came here. Like, she should not came here under those pretenses. So I had to do what I had to do in my mind. Like, psychologically, I felt like I was defending myself, which I was. So, however, looking back on it, I could have, like, not opened my door and called the police, but I was crazy. And I told this bitch I was crazy numerous times. Like, she wasn't paying attention during the storytelling. She knew I wasn't real tight when it came to shit like that. And definitely not when it comes to you coming to my house. Like, I'm not one of them people that go looking for trouble. Like, but if you bring trouble to me, like, I'm gonna try to make sure I survive. Like, your survival should be based on your skills, and my survival is gonna be based on my skill set. So that happened. This is not the end, though. This is not the end. She calls the police. So my mom, she stayed on the phone to her, everything. So I done traumatized my mama too, because she was just scared. She felt like wouldn't no sane person come over there without no weapon. She thought she came over there to hurt me also. So, like, everybody was on the same page that, like, she was looking for trouble. I thought she was looking for trouble. I was gonna help her solve it. And by the time my sister got there, so my sister, my brother, and my nephew got there, police was already there, because my mom was like, well, if she called the police on you, you need to call the police on her, just so it can be documented. So I did what my mom said. And because I don't do the police when fighting, so that shit, like, kind of alarmed me, because I'm like, bitch, you called the police and you came to my house to fight me. Like, and that's my mindset. Like, I felt like she came to the house to fight me. She claims to this day she did not come there to fight me. However, that's what the fuck it gave off vibes to me. If I tell you to leave from my house and you step towards me, I think, you know, like, that's a reflex. That's just a fucking reflex. So, yeah. But she ended up calling the police. She tells her side, I tell my side. The neighbors tell what they saw and heard, because they this so like our buildings are so thin. Like we used to literally hear everything in that fucking apartment. So like you could hear most things going on. So my neighbors were able to you know, say that they heard me tell her leave, and like they heard a lot of commotion, and that's what warranted them to come out because they thought like something was wrong, and they actually thought it was me and Dante's baby mom because she knew that me and her was going through some stuff, and so they had no idea it was my sister. So we, talked to the police. She wanted to press charges. So she wanted to press charges on me. And basically the police was like, well, if you press charges on her, she can press charges on you. And I was just automatically like, I don't want to press charges. And she was like, but blah, 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 I'm pregnant. And like, no, you know what, she didn't even mention she was pregnant during that time. What she said was that she didn't do anything to me, like she didn't hit me, I hit her first type of deal. Like she was trying to make it seem like I was the aggressor, which in all actuality I don't feel like I'm the aggressor if I'm at my fucking house chilling and you came to my house. To me, you the aggressor. Like territory wise, you're the aggressor. So, because you just crossed the line, bitch. And so the police kind of was like in this situation where it was like, y'all family, y'all sisters, like, what I would suggest is that neither one of y'all press charges, and basically told us to, if we wanted to reconcile, to meet in a public place, do not come to each other's house, to not go online, doing stuff on Facebook, do not get other people to reach out to the other party to antagonize or provoke. Literally everything they told this bitch not to do and me not to do, she did anyway. So before like the dust could even settle, she done called my brother, told him her side of the story. With me, I don't even be giving a fuck when it comes to shit like that, because once I get to that point, like I know you lost your man anyway because I had to lose mine. So I wasn't really even caring about people, hearing my side of the story. I felt like it is what it is. I couldn't even tell the story accurately because it just was so much shit had happened. Like, even to this day, like, I'm leaving stuff out. And, I just felt like, I don't give two fucks. Like, what happened. Even that day that it happened, I hugged it out with her. I told her, you my sister. We should have never got to the point where we fighting. I hope you can forgive me. That's how I am as a person. So, even though, like, I have put hands on her and she got all rights to be mad at that, like, I definitely let her know, like, I was wrong. However, you shouldn't. I definitely let her know, like, next going forward, like, don't do this. Like, don't come to my house and I didn't invite you to my house and we mad at each other. Like, don't do that. But I definitely, we were able, I asked her, did she want a hug? She went ahead and hugged. However, the whole time this bitch had a vengeance. So I guess I put something tough on her, and she tried to destroy my whole life. Basically, she went and made a Facebook post saying that I had killed her baby. Mind you, when she was with the police, she never mentioned she was pregnant. But yeah, like, she put up this fake Google, like, we reverse image the Google folder photo that she said was her like, it was literally a doctor holding a fetus in their hand that she was claiming was her baby that I had aborted. Like, I can't make this shit up. And I saved and screenshotted every fucking day because I just was like, I don't never know. One day this shit might resurface again and she might try to fuck over my character. But I screenshotted everything from that time period. She was on Facebook talking about my house. She was like sneak dissing about dogs. Like, anybody come to my house when we had our dogs, like, our house never smelled like no fucking dog. I always tell people, like, I'm not the neatest person, but I am germ conscious. Like, I don't like dirty. However, I will have like take some clothes off, and I might not hang it up right away. Like I'm not junk conscious, but I'm not hoarder. And like, but I'm just not the neatest person. I would say that, but like I'm germ conscious, and so like she was just throwing little stupid little sneak diss, and so mind you, one of the things too that hurt me was she knew Dante was locked up. So when she called the police on me, like if you would have got me locked up, my child could have got taken away from me. And you knew that because before my sister and them even got over there, like she called the police. So like you knew that like if I got locked up, they was gonna take my kid. Thank God I did have neighbors that automatically snatched her up and brought her to the house before the police could even get there. Like thank God for that. But it was just so many things that happened that me and my sister had processed, and it was just like the Facebook post of telling people that I had unalived her kid, and like just it was just all kind of defamation against me. I got mad because I fought her because she had came to my house and proved that I was wrong and she wasn't lying. What the fuck kind of sense does that make? Why the fuck would I fight you because you was right? Like, but anyway, so it was just all kind of slander and shit. So still, I never went to Facebook and explained how wrong she was or whatever. I did start posting shit about how fucked up family was and all that stuff, but I never like pointed out her character or did the same little stupid shit she did. I pretty much stayed pretty much quiet. Never told my story about this shit, but only to a select few family members. And I just think she thought like I was weak because all those years she had gotten over on me. Like, but baby, I'm not weak. Like, you just was taking my kindness as a weakness. Like, but I'm not weak, sweetheart. Like, I came out of the mud, bitch. Like, with her, I'm nice. And I'm gonna stop that shit. Like, not I'm gonna stop being nice, but I can be a good person and still tell you about yourself. So I have definitely learned that I need to nip shit in the bud when it first happens. That was one of the things she threw in my face. She called me a coward and told me like she basically gaslit me and told me like I was a coward because when I felt like things were wrong, I should have told her. So basically she was telling me like I should have let her know she was lying. So and she was right though. Like she was right. I should have been called her out on her bullshit. We would have never got there because I would have been cut you off. Like your response would have been made me cut you off. So she was right. This shit started to get ugly though, because my oldest sister never got to get her lick back, and my sister didn't like what she did with the police, and so my sister basically, I don't know if she was solely involved, but I definitely know from a standpoint of something happened with her aunts where they was trying to take my niece from her they was trying to get the dad to get custody of the niece, and because they felt like she wasn't doing right, which she wasn't. She was fucking up. Like however, one thing she must know is like I don't believe in fucking with people and getting their kids taken away. Like I think that shit is kind of fucked up. However, where she fucked up with me was I was chilling. I was letting her vent. Once again, I'm letting her do all this little shit, talk this shit on Facebook. She done turned my brother against me. Me and him done got into a fucking argument because he talking about he done got his little pussy ass into a God rest his soul. But during that time, I felt like at that moment, like that was some bitch shit. Like if we as women arguing, why the fuck was you intervening? And then it's like I had been there for every time he would like have his issues with drugs. Not every time, but like the major times, like when he ended up in the hospital, like I would be there. She would be the one that would act like she don't want to come and pussyfoot the fuck around. But when I would hear about it, like I would come running. Like, or if he called me and he needed money, like, I would get that shit to him. Like, so it hurt me deeply when, like, he kind of switched sides. Like, he started making Facebook posts like, who needs sisters when you got, who needs enemies when you got sister like D down? And it was like, well, damn, bro, like, you picked a side real quick. You should have just stayed out this one. Like, you should have. My oldest brother, who she talked about, my sister's mom, like, they share the same mom, he stayed out of it because he a man. Like, he stayed out of it. She apologized for what she said to his mom about his mom, and you know, like, he did what a man would do. Like, you know, like, I'm staying out that shit. Like, that's some female shit. And but my other brother, and God rest his soul, like, I love him. We never had a falling out until then. However, we did make amends for it, and I'm happy we did. But it did kind of fuck our relationship up because it was just like, you know, my character. Like, I ain't on that type of shit. Like, I ain't did no foul shit to you. So why the fuck is you in this? Like, I understand we both your sisters and you might be, you know, like that. Maybe y'all are closer. Like, apparently y'all are closer. Like, but I ain't never did no shit to you. So what the fuck is you in it for? And so it did cause rifts in the family. And so, but yeah, she ended up getting her. So they ended up having court for her custody or whatever. How